Hey, what's up everyone, Morey Croson here, and we're going to be breaking down the best start in the game, and we'll start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, today we are going to be breaking down Trayvon Bromell's start, and like I said to start off the video, he has the best start in the game. There's just nobody that I think is on his level in terms of the ability to get those first 3 steps down in terms of just like the time. Right? There's just no one that has that time. How fast he's able to get those feet down, the range of motion he's able to maintain within his feet are all just on a crazy level. And so we want to be able to understand the best that we can. What is he doing? How is he doing it? Right? We can't understand 100% because unfortunately we don't have him on here. I'd love to be able to have him come in and be able to talk a little bit more about how he was able to develop some of the strength that he has. But for now, we could just go ahead and break it down. So we'll go ahead and hop right into it. And what starts off is just the best thing here, and this is when he's running a 60. We see the foot is on the blocks here at 0.80, right? We can see the foot on the block, okay? And so, I mean, it's got to be a little bit after. For sure, it's got to be a little bit after. But, if we start at 0.83, he gets the foot back down at 0.03, right? So 0.2. Okay, and if we look to see what he does, right, he kind of puts the foot off to the side and lands with the foot pretty far off to the side here. And what stands out, right, is he's getting his foot down as fast as we can. This is something we talk about all the time with the 40. It's something we talk about all the time with the 60, the 100. Just getting out of the blocks. We need to be able to get our foot down, right? We also need to be very powerful with our hips, right? And driving our hips forward, okay? And we also need to be very powerful in our initial kind of spine movement and being able to get that spine upwards, okay? So now he lands at that 0.03 time period here, okay? And he's right back off the ground in 0.2, right? So probably a little bit under 0.2, okay? So that is going to be really the longer part of his start in terms of the numbers, right? Is how much time he spends on the ground within that first step. Okay, then we get him landing, and you can see where he's landing, right? We see where really all these guys are landing, but we're going to be specific on Trayvon Bromell here. But I want you to understand that just because it's Trayvon Bromell we're focusing on, this is something that all the best guys are doing, right? Because I know that if you're watching this video, right, if you're looking to get into the technical part of your sprint, you're looking to be the best, right? You're trying to be the best at your start, right? The best at being able to get out of the blocks, or else you wouldn't be watching this video, right? And so if you're trying to be the best, you want to be able to emulate them and see what it is that they're doing and understand what it is they're doing. So landing at 0.26, okay, on that second foot, and then off at 4.3, right? Again, this looks like it's a little bit long, right? It looks like he's going to be, off a little bit sooner, okay? And so where he excels is the limited amount of time that he spends on the ground, off the ground, okay? Because we can see that one landed at about 0.2 time off the ground, right? This one is going to be 0.0 to 2.6. Okay, so when that left foot comes off the ground or off the block, hits back down, 2.6. Okay, this other one comes off at 2.3, right? We've been using that. Hits back down at about 4.6, maybe a little bit longer, right? I mean, it would be somewhere in that 4.6 area. That looks like a frame that ended up pausing a little bit. Okay, so somewhere in like the 2 to 2.3 area, we'll say 2.3. Okay, and really we'll focus primarily on the first 3 sets, so we'll go into the, how he's cycling through on the next one. So that was 4.3 to 4.6, so again, 0.23. So he's actually spending less time on those 3rd and 4th steps there, okay? Now, notice he's landing on the inside part of the foot, right? He's very low with his feet as they're coming through. He's landing on the inside, right? And he's trying to get the toe upwards the best that he can and then strike back down into the ground, right? toe upwards the best that he can. He did do a little bit of a toe drag right here. Gonna drag this toe, boom, right there. Toe up, strike back down. Toe up, strike back down. Toe up, strike back down. Okay, and so what we want to be able to maximize when we're starting is the turnover of the legs, right? How fast can we turn over the legs, and how well can we create horizontal force into the ground? Okay, and so the way to be able to do that is being able to connect with the feet, right? Because if we can connect to the feet, we can get those toes up and through and then strike back down into the ground, which ends up being the primary way of being able to create horizontal force. Getting the toes up and then being able to pull that foot back down underneath you. Okay, and really what we're trying to do is we're trying to get up in those hips, right? Because look how, like on this step here, again, I know we don't want to get too far into it, but look at how upright his hips are, right? So his leg is almost landing straight, pretty close to straight in terms of this, right? But his spine is still facing forward. So we want to be lifting up in the hips, right? So he gets a little bit of a drop here for a second, right? We see that initial knee drop. We've talked about that a lot, right? And then those hips come forward. Okay, so we're trying to get those hips forward, trying to get those hips forward, trying to get those hips forward in those 3 steps, right? And then as we get those 3 steps and we start to get those hips forward, now we're trying to get upwards with the hips, right? So see how this one, he goes from the hips being more, downward, right? And then here he's pulling that foot to be able to start to get those hips coming up. So when we're rising, when we're getting into our drive phase, we want to start getting the hips upward, right? But we want to still be able to maintain the spine the spine position being out in front, and then as time goes, we're going to start raising slowly through the spine. But the first thing that ends up really raising is going to be the legs, right? And the way that those legs end up rising or getting higher is because we're able to pull the foot underneath. Okay, so what happens first is being able to generate a lot of force and power into the ground, get that turnover going within the legs, and then we start to be able to increase the amount of distance that we're picking up per step and be able to continue to lengthen as our spine comes upward. We want to be patient through that, right? We don't want to end up rushing it, but I want to give you just as clear as I possibly can way of how you want to be able to improve your sprint, right? And what's important here, okay, if you're really 16 and under or 17 and under, okay, is being able to really look at your start and how you're starting and be able to make the adjustments, the changes to be able to start more like these top guys and forget about what your initial feedback is, initial time is, okay? Because you're going to start and probably not be good at it like any other habit. But when you work on it, now you're going to be able to get closer and closer to what the top guys are doing. And that's what the goal is, right? So we wanted to begin with the end in mind, okay? And so we're not beginning or starting to be able to make these changes looking for immediate gratification. We're making these changes in our start because we have the mentality that we have a certain goal to be able to get to maybe within a month or 2, right? Or 3 or 6, okay? That would be more of a realistic thing, okay? I want to be able to get my start into maybe 1-5 in the first 7 steps, okay? And then that would be, again, something that is more what you can aspire to be able to accomplish within a 3 to 6 month period. But you're not going to be able to see immediate feedback in terms of a huge improvement, right? For the most part, there's some guys that might be a little bit off and maybe watching this video, making a certain critique and end up making a big change. But for the most part, you're going to end up having a little bit of a downward response first to then get you back into an upward response. So that's what the expectation should be. The mentality should be going towards the end goal, right? And if you are, I guess, older than that, haven't worked a lot on your start, then really focus on being able to get the mechanics down, right? The point of that is to say the mechanics are what are going to get you there, right? The timing, the mechanics, the system, the process, right? That's what's going to get you there, not by reinventing the wheel. The way of lifting your foot back up behind you really high, Okay, having a really high backside mechanics is just not what is going to get you there. We don't see anybody that is a top sprinter that does that. 0 guys. So that's not going to get you there. Okay, what's going to get you there is being able to change how you do it into making it so closer to how the top guys do it. That's why, I made a video about the difference between, genetics, right? People want to blame genetics, right? Say Trayvon Bromell has superior genetics. No, he doesn't have superior genetics. He had to build himself up just like everybody else, right? Or build to make it so his times get down just like anybody else. Right? Marcel Jacobs had to do the same thing. Omanyala had to do the same thing, right? All these guys talk about how they had times that were in the 11s when they started, or in the 12s when they started, and they had to build themselves down into running great times, okay? And so you had to do the same. If you want to be able to be a top sprinter, you have to be able to put the time into being able to make the difference, make the change in your mechanics. So as always, if you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. Check out the descriptions. We have a bunch of great things. We have the 90-day or the 3-month speed program. And even if you get the without breakdown one, I usually do breakdowns for people. Obviously, if you do the with breakdown one, it's more expensive, but it's way more value that you're going to get out of it. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Also check out the Faster 40 if you're somebody that's looking to get better at the 40, or any of the programs. Really, all of it ends up being great stuff, great ways to be able to help you out in your current situation, right? Get you from where you are to where it is you want to be. That's my focus. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do for you. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Check out the description. Like, subscribe. Talk to you soon.